All right, it's never too early for NFL prop bets. We have joint practices, preseason games starting. So we got to start thinking about who might win MVP this year. Looking at the elite quarterbacks throughout the league, you got to wonder if Aaron Rodgers can win his third straight MVP this coming season, or will Tom Brady once again prove that he is truly the GOAT? If you look at the past 6 years, Aaron Rodgers taking home the award the past 2 seasons. The Ravens, Lamar Jackson winning it in 2019. Now, Patrick Mahomes, he won the honors in 2018 following a man named Tom Brady. And when you go down that list to 2016, it was Matt Ryan with the Atlanta Falcons. All right, let's have some fun, fellas. Let's welcome in our Emory Hunt and Will Brinson. So Aaron Rodgers coming off back-to-back MVP seasons. The question is, do we think he could do it again? If not, give me another season-long prop to bet on. And Emory, I'm going to start with you with all of these. So Emory, go, and then Will, you can follow up.
Well, I look at Aaron Rodgers and his ability to really maximize his opportunities inside the red zone with a lot of cheap 2 to 3 yard touchdown passes. I feel like he can rack up those TD numbers like he has done in his entire career. So I look for him to go over his whatever his touchdown projection total is, but also lead the NFL in touchdown passes. I think he's on par for another 40 touchdown plus season.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like hearing Emory immediately give out the prop that's contradicting me. I took the under on touchdown passes, and the reason why is a lack of Devontae Adams. And I know he's won the MVP back-to-back years and has had, I believe, 48 touchdown passes and 37 touchdown passes, but his touchdown percentage, as in the percentage of his throws that are touchdown passes, led the NFL in both of the last 2 years. That's a number. It was 9.1% in 2020 and 7% in 2021. That's a number that is just due for some regression to the mean. And so I think if you look back at even 2019, first year in Matt LaFleur's offense, and granted, obviously he's much more in tune with that. He threw 26 touchdown passes. And so I think this could go under that number. And look, shop around. I think it's 30.5 at Caesars and William Hill. I've seen it 31.5 elsewhere. You'd prefer something like 33.5 for this under. But I still think it could easily go under because of the lack of weapons that he has at his disposal. And no, he will not win MVP, Jenny. Cranky old voters like Pete Prisco will get voter fatigue when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, and we'll find somebody new to try to give it to. They desperately want to give it to Josh Allen. I promise you that.
Oh, we'll see if that happens. Did you guys hear on Adam Schein's podcast that they had, or his radio show, when Aaron Rodgers came on and he was talking about just himself and all of his accolades, and he was like, I have 4 MVPs. I'm an honorary black belt. I want another Super Bowl champ. He just threw in honorary black belt as part of this conversation when you're like, where does that even...
I don't think you could...
What?
It's like me saying I'm a former notary. What do you mean you have an honorary black belt?
It was so... You don't even have to...
honorary black belt.
You don't even have to, do any of the services to get an honorary black belt. The Pope has it.
It's like the honorary doctorate. The fake doctors out there.
I just had to throw that out there. It was such an odd comment. But hey, you don't think he's going to win another MVP? There we go. All right, let's go about Lamar Jackson, though. He's going into his 5th year. He was your 2019 MVP entering his final year now of his rookie contract. So what prop bet do we like for Jackson?
Listen, I'm an honorary astronaut, too, by the way. That makes sense, but I'm going to find the most disrespectful prop for all of these athletic quarterbacks. So for Lamar Jackson, another disrespectful prop, over 24.5 touchdown passes. People will say, oh, he's declined every year. 36 was when he won the MVP. 26 was the next year. He had 16 last season, and we know he didn't even finish the season. Otherwise, he probably would have gone over this particular prop. So, yes, he is going to go over 24.5 props. People focus on the lack of perimeter weapons outside. They still have Rashad Bateman. He has worked with James Prochet and Devin Duvernay for the last couple of seasons. And by the way, they've drafted really well at the tight end position. Charlie Kohler and Will Likely are having strong camps. Both are excellent receivers at their respective universities. I think he goes over this number easily, approaching 30 touchdown passes once again.
I'm going to get weird with this one, okay? I'm going to say Lamar Jackson leads the NFL in rushing yards at 80-1. Is it likely to happen? No, of course not. It's 80-1. It's a super long shot. But I mean, I think if you look at the running back situations around the NFL. I mean, yeah, Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry could just go for huge numbers. But I also think you could see a lot of committees around the league. And if Lamar Jackson goes crazy, Why not? And look at this. He's got, he's up there in terms of rushing yards. He's the only quarterback in the top 25 for rushing yards since 2018. It's not that crazy to suggest Lamar just goes ham and rushes for 1,300 yards and somehow manages to lead the league. Why not? 80-1. We'll take a little stab at it.
You never know what will happen. He did bulk up this offseason, I think gaining 25 pounds or something. Coach Harbaugh said that it hasn't slowed him down at all, so maybe that plays into your success that you're hoping for. All right, next up we have Patrick Mahomes. He's the next quarterback on our list. So he's at 151 passing touchdowns since the start of his 2018 MVP season. That's the most in the NFL. So give me your favorite long season prop bet when it comes to Mahomes.
All right, these I love because it's wordy. So Patrick Mahomes will throw over 4,650.5 yards. I said, why not just give him the full 5,000? I feel like this is someone in an offense where he's going to spread the football around. They still have Travis Kelce. They bring in Juju Smith-Schuster. Mecole Hardman is going to be the quote-unquote new Tyreek Hill. And whichever insert new receiver is going to help out the passing game, they're going to get the direct beneficiary of all the coverage being pulled away from them. And I still feel like this team, they say they want to run the football more, but we know they won't do it when the games are actually happening and in season. So look for him to throw this football all over the yard and clearly clearing this number.
Yeah, I went on over with Mahomes as well. I said I'm going to go passing touchdowns. It's 34.5, and again, 17-game season. It's Tyreek Hill's absence that is causing this number to be so low. But the one thing about, I took the under on Aaron Rodgers touchdowns. The thing about Patrick Mahomes and an Andy Reid offense is no one loves those little jet sweep 1-yard touchdown passes more than Andy Reid. He loves to give Patrick Mahomes those shots, and I think you'll see the Juju Smith-Schuster utilized with him. Mecole Hardman should get a bunch of them as well, and Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who's an explosive fast player. A lot more speed that they've got. You lose Tyreek Hill, so the number one speed guy is gone, of course, but you have a lot of different speed you can operate with in terms of your receiving core. I like that over on his passing touchdowns.
All right, next up we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Tom Brady. Now, after retiring earlier this year, Brady obviously took to social media, said he has that unfinished business. So how is Brady going to shock the world this season? What do we like?
We like Brady going over 11.5 interceptions. He's thrown 12 interceptions the last 2 seasons. And when you factor that into what's going to be a unique season, because they're going to be a little bit different up front, they have to replace some pieces. Some weapons have been lost on the outside. So there's a little bit more question. I feel like with 17 games, he's likely to have one of those 4 interception games. You're like, yo, what the heck's going on? But after that, it averages out to him going over this 11.5 number. And I'm just betting on history that 12 will strike once again for Tom Brady.
Yeah, I like that bet a lot. I'd rather bet that one than the one that I'm about to give out, which is under on Tom Brady passing yards. But the same sort of principle, right? Like I know Bruce Arians isn't there anymore, and yeah, I mean Byron Leftwich calling the plays and operating the Bruce Arians offense, and that's all well and good. But this is a Todd Bowles team, and there's just going to be a lot less no risk it, no biscuit when it comes to the play calling. Tom Brady will have final say, I'm sure, when it comes to audibling at the line of scrimmage and deciding what he wants to go with. And yes, he's easily cleared 4.525.5 the last 2 years. But I just think we're going to see a little bit more running, a little bit more conservative, a little bit more lean on the defense now that you got this change in head coach, and that could result in, especially with the injured receivers and you got a bunch of offensive linemen that they're replacing. I think we just see a little less explosive offense from the Bucs this year than we have in the past 2.
It's great. I set that up for you guys to just talk about how amazing Tom Brady was, and then you're just like, meh, meh, meh. Never mind.
He's average. He's an average. He's just a guy.
Yeah, he's just an average guy. How about Matt Ryan? Just an average guy there. The 2016 MVP entering his first season with the Colts. It's been, a very interesting career when you think about that. There's been a lot of highs, a lot of lows as well. New team. So what prop do we like?
There's a lot to like about Matt Ryan. First, he wears the eye black like you want to see your quarterbacks wear. He wears the unstrapped Air Force One cleats. He has the big sleeves flapping off his shoulder pads. So there's a lot to love about Matt Ryan. But I love this prop here going under 25.5 touchdown passes. I feel like 25 is the actual number for Matt Ryan. It's not because he's declining in skills. It's because he has his best roster he's had in quite some time. I see a lot of action for Jonathan Taylor, the running back. a lot of safe passes, operating off play action, a lot of game management that's going to take place with Indianapolis, which will put them in more of an advantageous situation to help close out this division. So I think he won't have to throw for a lot of yards or even a lot of touchdowns. What he's going to do is help them win games, guide them to the playoffs, and under 25.5 touchdowns should help them do that.
I'm going to take the over on Matt Ryan passing yards. I do agree with Emory that this is going to be look, the last 2 years, we've seen it as the Colts have changed over quarterbacks. They've been conservative with the offense. Frank Reich doesn't want to, he's the opposite of Bruce Arians, right? He wants these quarterbacks to be smart, doesn't want to take a ton of chances, but he's going to let Matt Ryan whip it downfield enough. I mean, Phillip Rivers cleared this number by a pretty easy amount, I believe. I mean, I think Rivers was almost at, he might have even been at 4,000 with the Colts. Yeah, actually, what am I talking about? He was at 41, almost at 4,200 yards with the Colts in his one season there. And I think you can see Matt Ryan be given a lot of freedom in terms of passing the ball. Nyheim Hines will be involved in a lot of passes out of the backfield, Jonathan Taylor as well. So I think he'll clear that number, but I do agree in the principle of how this Colts offense is going to operate with Matt Ryan in the same way that Emory described it. And oh, by the way, Matt Ryan probably really appreciates us talking about him on the day that James White retired. He's like, just keep your name off my lips when you're talking about James White on the same day. Don't need to hear about him.
Yeah, I like that memory. All right, well, before we let you guys go, I need your pick to win the NFL MVP. I know that Brinson, you said it's not going to be Aaron Rodgers, but we're going to start with Emory here. Who do you guys like?
I love Lamar Jackson winning the MVP. If it wasn't for an ankle injury last year, he would have won it again last season. And I feel like when he's coming back healthy with the team that people are still doubting, look for him to go over this yardage total, look for him to go over his touchdown total. And what if I told you someone that rushes for 1,200 yards a season can also throw the football like a quarterback supposed to throw the football? That's the ultimate weapon. He's the ultimate chess piece. So at plus 2,000, that's someone I feel like can go over and win the MVP once again.
So I'm going to pick Josh Allen, but I'm also, I've got, as I noted, I got Lamar Jackson as the best value on the board at 20-1. I mean, this is disrespectful. The guy's won. You got to remember, he's won the award before. So the voters are conditioned to believe that they can, in fact, vote for him again if he has a great season. And the Ravens should be a prime bounce-back team. They had 191 adjusted games lost last year, by far the most in the NFL, by like 30 or 40 games. Lamar's a great bounce-back option. But as I said before, I really think the voters want to give it to Josh Allen. If he gives them a reason to vote for him, they will vote for him. So I like Lamar best value, but I think Josh Allen would be my pick today to win MVP if I had to make one.
Good stuff from both of you guys. Thanks so much for joining us here on The Q. Let's recap these picks so we make sure everyone has time to write them all down and maybe win some money. You never know. So Lamar Jackson, a favorite for Emory over there. He likes him for MVP, also likes the over with the touchdown passes in that category. As far as Mahomes goes, both fans, both over when it comes to passing yards and passing touchdowns. Brady, Brinson really likes this one, so does Emory, the over with 11.5 interceptions there. As far as Matt Ryan goes, the under with 25.5 touchdown passes, and the over as far as passing yards go. That's what our Will Brinson has to say. And MVP, as I mentioned, Emory going with Lamar Jackson. Will Brinson liking that as far as the value goes, but thinks that the honor is going to go to Josh Allen. And if you're looking for more NFL goodies, the season's just about to start. You got to tune into the Pick Six podcast. Our guys getting you up to speed in about 30 minutes each day. Their latest pod answering some mailbag questions. That's always fun. How worried should the Vikings fans be about the new GM? And this is a good one. Why are the 49ers trading Jimmy G?
Up next. Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.